Good afternoon, Cross Timbers. Today is Thursday, July 31st. This is Texan TV News from the Tarleton State University campus in Stephenville, Texas. I am Bethany Kyle. Here are today's top stories. Third police chief candidate visits campus. KWBY Radio to host free haircut event for kids. Ventura awarded $1.8 million in defamation case against Chris Kyle. Group of senators announce Campus Safety and Accountability Act. UN school and shopping center in Gaza hit, causing death toll to rise. The AP News Minute and the weather. In campus news, the third of the four candidates for Tarleton Chief of Police came to campus on Monday. Jerry Garner is currently the police chief in Greeley, Colorado. Greeley is home to the University of Northern Colorado, a school of about 12,000 students, and the total population is around 100,000. Garner has 45 years of law enforcement experience as well as teaching experience at the university level and publishing 9 books on criminal justice. Garner answered questions from students on a number of topics and ideas.
We're not going to do that.
One of the things would be my job as a new police chief would be to listen to you guys and listen to staff and listen to the faculty and listen to my own officers about what are the issues? How can we make things better? What do you like? What don't you like? What do you want that needs fixed? What's working pretty good?
That might be kind of fun.
To do a citizen policing academy.
What is that?
It's where we give you a sample of what a real police academy is like. If you're interested in law enforcement, maybe as a career. For example, where I am now, we do it every Thursday night for 10 weeks, 3 hours at a time. And we do everything that we do in a regular police academy, except on a smaller. On concealed weapons on campus or open carry on campus. In other words, wearing it in the open, not concealed. And I can tell you police chiefs are kind of all over the board on this. We're not agreed. We're not all in one big mass that we all see it the same way. And some of you may greatly disagree with me, but you've asked me a fair question. I'll give you an honest answer. I don't like the idea of more and more guns on campus for the simple reason that bad things can happen. Al will tell you, we have our officers occasionally have an accidental discharge of a firearm. From being in this business a long time, I know officers that have wounded themselves from doing stupid things with a firearm. You magnify that with a number of people that, if you had a lot of people out there running around armed, either CCW, concealed, or open carry, it's just more guns here, and there's a chance of more accidents happening.
The final candidate to be visiting campus is Scott Haynes, who is from Sanger, Texas, and a Tarleton graduate. He will have an open forum with students on Monday at 4 p.m. in Science 105. And local news from the Stephenville Empire-Tribune, KWBY Radio is organizing an event called Operation Kids Cuts, in which they will have free haircuts for kids heading back to school in the fall. It will take place on August 15th from 4 to 7 at the KWBY station. The idea came about when a local hairstylist called Shelley Gilliland, the host of KWBY's Community Corner, with the idea. She said she hopes this is something they can start doing before every school year. Several local stylists will donate their time to help with the project that day. To pre-register, email operationkidscuts@yahoo.com or call the station at 254-918-5929. Now for state, national, and international news from the Associated Press. In Texas news, a jury in St. Paul decided on Tuesday to award Jesse Ventura, former Minnesota governor, $1.8 million in a lawsuit he was fighting against the estate of Chris Kyle. The lawsuit arose from a passage in Kyle's book, American Sniper, which was a bestseller in 2012. The book libeled Ventura in a story described in the book of a bar fight in California in 2006. In the book, Kyle wrote that he hit Ventura after he said the Navy SEALs deserved to lose a few. Ventura said that the incident never happened, but Kyle insisted it did in a testimony on video from before he was killed. During the 2-week trial, both sides had witnesses placed on the stand that backed each version of events. Ventura's attorney, David Olson, talked about the decision with the press.
I was able to reach the governor this afternoon, and I spoke to him by telephone. He wanted me to express his sentiment that there are no real winners in this trial. He's certainly grateful to the jury for their verdict, but his reputation with an entire generation of young SEALs may never be repaired, and that's why he says that there's no winner here. What the governor always wanted was a jury verdict that says Chris Kyle's story is a lie. He's got that, but the money that's just on top. For a period of time, they were confused about some of the instructions on defamation and the actual malice standard, and what Chris Kyle's state of mind needed to be or not be to render a verdict in favor of the governor. And I think over a period of several days, the judge's responses to those questions alleviated their concerns.
That they were divided.
He proposed generally whether the parties would accept something less than a unanimous verdict.
So who came up with
And
the 8-2?
we agreed that we would accept anything 6 or more.
Prior to the decision, legal experts had said the Ventura would have to clear a high legal bar to win this case. In national news, on Tuesday, a bipartisan group of senators introduced a piece of legislation with the goal of decreasing sexual assaults on college campuses and making administrations increase their accountability and transparency with these cases.
The price of a college education should not be that 1 in 5 women will be sexually assaulted. Today, we're announcing our solution to America's epidemic of campus sexual assault. The Campus Accountability and Safety Act is a bipartisan bill that finally forces colleges and universities across the country to face this problem head-on, aggressively, with the goal of making our schools safer.
We are proposing today, in effect, an enforceable Bill of Rights, guarantees to confidential advisors access to the criminal process, an internal process of discipline that is fair, impartial, and professional, with process due to all, and resources and services that survivors need and deserve.
This bill has teeth. If schools ignore the clear guidelines, this bill lays out that there are consequences and that they will pay a stiff price.
Now, we're not going to legislate away sexual assault, but we can make it better for the survivors coming forward. And this bill is an incredible first step in making that happen.
The Campus Safety and Accountability Act is designed with consequences for universities that do not follow the guidelines and access to help after an incident has occurred. In international news, a crowded shopping area in Gaza City was hit by Israeli air and artillery strikes on Wednesday. This came just hours after tank shells were shot into the wall of a UN school that was holding over 200,000 war refugees displaced by the fighting. After these attacks, the Palestinian death toll has risen to more than 1,300 in 3 weeks of fighting. The attack on the school and refugee camp was the second deadly strike on a UN compound in only a week. The fighting on both sides continues to escalate in the region, despite diplomatic efforts internationally to have a ceasefire. For more of the top national and international news, we'll go to the AP News Minute.
This is AP News Minute. Israel said it has called up another 16,000 reservists, allowing it to potentially widen its Gaza offensive against the territory's Hamas rulers in a 3-week-old war. The move coincides with stalled diplomatic efforts to end the war, which has claimed more than 1,300 Palestinian lives, most of them civilians, and more than 50 Israeli lives. Health officials in Sarasota County, Florida, are warning people about a dangerous bacteria after one person died and another got sick. Officials are warning residents and tourists against eating raw oysters and exposing open wounds to coastal and inland waters. A landslide buried a remote village in western India early Wednesday, killing at least 30 and trapping more than 150 people. Rescue workers, desperate villagers, and crowds of people from nearby areas dug through deep mud, rocks, and debris of shattered homes looking for survivors. A small plane crashed in a San Diego shopping center parking lot, killing an 80-year-old passenger and injuring the pilot. Nobody on the ground was hurt. Matthew Burgoyne, The Associated Press, with AP News Minute.
Today's weather forecast, provided by weather.com, is mostly sunny with a high of 84 and a low of 65, with a 10% chance of rain. This has been a production of Texan TV News, a product of the Texan News Service from the Tarleton State University campus in Stephenville, Texas. You can follow the Texan News Service on Facebook and Twitter, and check out our website at www.texannews.net for all of your latest local, state, national, and international news, as well as all of your entertainment and sports news. Today's broadcast was produced by Ashley Husbands, Rachel Peoples, and Sarah Gann. I am Bethany Kyle. Have a wonderful day, Tarleton Texans.